Hey, what is going on, Miami Dolphins fans? Welcome back to the Fins Up Network. It's Ben Morgan, and we're carrying on Dolphins Vikings preview week. We got Zack Patraw, who's going to be able to give us some thoughts and some insights from the enemy, from the Vikings side of things. But another reason that I love that Zack is joining for this video is because typically when you've got a guest on, it's good for that one video. But outside of that, Dolphins fans, we don't care about the Vikings unless they're playing the Dolphins. But trust me, Zack is a little bit different in the sense that you should follow him and his work because not only is he going to make you a smarter football fan, but he does a lot, and I mean a lot of NFL draft work. And if you've been following the Fins Up Network since we've been starting, you know how much I love the draft and how much draft content there is to pump out. So, Zack, first and foremost, welcome, brother, and go ahead, let everyone know where they can find your work before we kick off this final Dolphins-Vikings preview.
Yeah, man, happy to be on. I know it's been a while since I've hopped on the mic with you, back with you and DJ and everything like that. But yeah, you can find all my work. I post all on Twitter at NFL_Zack. Like I said, I've done a lot of work with the draft. I got some more stuff coming up with Sports Illustrated here soon in the near future. So it's a little teaser, something to come. So nice. I'm excited about that, and a lot of stuff with the draft and recruiting and football in general and all the fun stuff. So can't wait to get into it. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming soon.
Beautiful. Looking forward to it. One of my goals with these last preview videos is I've been kind of changing them up. I do a lot of videos on my own where it's viewer questions. I love doing those, but you know what? When I've got contacts that are with another team, I got to take advantage of that. So, Zack, right away, the Vikings 4-1 atop the NFC North. What in the hell did the Eagles do in week 2 against the Vikings? Your only loss of the season. What did they do to get that win? And by the way, are you mentally prepared for the Dolphins to do that to you?
Man, if the Dolphins are going to stop us, it's got to be stopping Dalvin Cook. And that's what the Eagles did. They just shut down our running game. And Dalvin is a key component in the passing game. And by that, I mean it opens up the entire field for the offense to work. If Dalvin's not cooking, then Kirk's not throwing the ball very well. Right. It's just how it goes. And that's what the Eagles did. They were able to shut down Dalvin. The offensive line struggled. And if the Dolphins are going to do that, they got to just shut down Dalvin. And it's going to be able to open up a lot more in the passing game for the Dolphins to shut down.
Yeah, speaking of that passing game, so as you may know, if you've seen the injury report, I mean, it's the Vikings and then it's the Dolphins. They almost ran out of paper. It is unbelievable how long their injury report is right now. They're banged up. Xavier Howard, he's got the questionable tag. He did say, I believe it was on like Tuesday or Wednesday, like, you know what, the groins, plural, he's got both groins that are an issue right now. And we're going to face Justin Jefferson. So let's just assume Xavier Howard can go. He said he's going to. But if there's a way to attempt to slow down Justin Jefferson, how can the Dolphins do that?
Well, a lot of people are going to say, don't let him beat you over the top. That's what the Bears try to do is keep him underneath. But the thing with Justin Jefferson is he's so good at breaking his routes off and finding that open area in the zone. So it's going to be a lot of, how I like to explain it is basically stick a man on him. I wouldn't say you want to press him. The guy's physical. He can beat you off the line. But get a safety over the top. Let guys play underneath him a little bit. It's one of those things again with Cook. If you guys are able to shut him down, you're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to beat you guys over the top because you guys are going to be able to spread out your defense. Less guys in the box. You get third and long situations. It's going to be tough for the Vikings to beat you guys over the middle and in those intermediate areas of the field. So basically, shut that down. Get two guys on Justin Jefferson. Get a safety over the top. And basically pray, hope and pray.
Thanks a lot. We've been doing a lot of that recently. I'm sure you've been paying attention to the Dolphins over the last couple of weeks with the whole quarterback concussion debacle. I mean, dude, starting out 3-0 and then going what we've gone through the first 2 weeks. The last win against the Bills for the Dolphins feels like it happened last year. It has been just an absolute mess. Dude, is it still true? Like, I remember a couple of years ago, if you got Kirk Cousins off of his spot, like his passer rating, his completion percentage, his turnovers, they all went to hell. Is that still the case, or has he kind of improved with his ability to get outside of the pocket and make plays?
That's a good question because the Vikings have schemed him to be able to get off his spot but not have pressure in his face, right?
Gotcha.
So a lot of the boot actions and all that, and basically get him outside of the pocket and get these tight ends out in the flat. But with Kirk, it's getting better. He's getting better at throwing with pressure in his face. But if you're able to push that pocket back and basically keep him in that spot while you're getting that pocket pushed back, that's when he's going to struggle, and that's when he's going to make his mistakes and kind of toss up a hope and pray ball. But with Kirk, he's been pretty solid. The Bears game was really good. I want to say it was like 17 passes completed in a row or something.
Yeah,
like he had 17 for 17 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so if you're able to basically just push the pocket deep, contain him in the pocket. I know he's talked about how he wants to be able to use his feet a little bit more. He says he hasn't reached his full potential there, and he thinks he can do a little bit more. As someone that has watched him for countless years now, it feels like I don't think that's the case.
Don't do it.
So if you're able to contain him, push that pocket, collapse it on him, get pressure in his face, you're still going to have success. The one thing with Kirk is with the new system that's implemented now with Kevin O'Connell, it's a really good system, but I think he's still learning it. Right? There's been so many instances where he has a two-stack route where he has a guy wide, the second guy wide open, but he takes that simple dump off and we'll go for 5 yards when you could take that 20-yard shot, possibly get a touchdown. I mean, every single game there's at least 2 instances where you're like, dude.
Those are the growing pains, because we've seen that a little bit with Tua last year. He actually got out to a really good start this year in Mike McDaniel's system, where that underneath stuff was open, but he's giving it that extra quarter second, letting that medium to deep route develop a little bit. So I know those growing pains, man. I know exactly what you're saying.
And with Kirk, man, it's not even like the 0.2 seconds. It's the just look up.
Yeah.
It's driving me nuts. But he's been good at not making mistakes and taking those simple passes are working, but we gotta start opening up a little bit.
Yeah. Have the Vikings shown any areas of weakness, either offensively or defensively, that teams have been able to exploit, or you think Miami might be able to exploit?
Man, if you guys can attack that secondary, it's so inconsistent. Dantzler's very inconsistent, but then he'll come back and make a play, and you'll be like, okay, there's the guy I've been hoping for. Patrick Peterson, he's 30-some-odd years old, getting out there, but he's having a hell of a year. I like what I see out of him, but again, it's just inconsistent. You'll see, plenty of times where he's given too much space, and he ends up getting gives up 8 to 12 yards. Guy's got a first down, and we're starting over. So it's about the inconsistencies on the back end. Even Harrison Smith, he's having a fine year, but not a Harrison Smith type year that we're all accustomed to seeing. So attack the secondary, and I know that's going to be tough without Tua. Tua's not playing, right? There's no way he's playing, right? Because I've seen he's still questionable.
They've essentially said that he'll be inactive on game day. The hope is that he would be able to play next week against the Steelers.
Don't play him this year. Come on now.
Give him, Or
this week. This week, don't play. Yeah.
As you're telling me that the area to exploit is the secondary, and now you're like, why don't you go ahead and roll out your third string quarterback?
I'm a Teddy fan, man. I've been a Teddy fan since he came to Minnesota. I've loved watching him. I know he's not the greatest quarterback to ever play, but his story is phenomenal, and I'll always be a Teddy fan. So is he playing, or is Skylar rolling out?
He's likely going to end up being the backup in this one. That whole new concussion protocol, we could spend an entire video discussing that. And I think most Dolphins fans have been beat over the head with that. So I'll leave it as it looks like Teddy's going to end up being the backup for this game.
Hey, and I like Skylar Thompson coming out. I think I had a 5th round grade on him. I didn't mind him. Yeah.
The guy has exceeded my expectations already. And honestly, I said this in the last video I did. This is an opportunity for Skylar Thompson to come out and prove that he can be the QB2 next year. He has a game plan that's schemed for him. The offensive coaches know what he can and can't do. This is an opportunity to put it on tape. Teddy Bridgewater is on a 1-year deal. If he can go out, put this game on tape and be like, you know what? We don't need an expensive quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater to be the backup next year. That's my gig as a 7th round rookie quarterback. That's the cheapest backup you can find. And if he can prove that he can get that job done, that's what this guy's voting for. I want to ask that same question I just asked you. I want to do the reverse of that, because is there something about the Vikings that you sort of feel is their calling card, and that they'll be able to rely on against most teams no matter what. Is it Cook? Is it Jefferson? Is there something that they have that it's like, we're not worried about a defense taking that away? We always have that.
I mean, offensively, I mean, like I said, if you shut Cook down, our passing game isn't good. It's not as efficient, right? So if you look at it from an offensive standpoint, I mean, Justin Jefferson's always going to be someone, that you can, scheme open. He's always some way, shape, or form in a game is going to find a way to get open. But defensively, I think what we can count on is our pass rush. Danielle Hunter's been really good. Zadarius Smith has been very solid. Even DJ Wanham's getting in the mix. And our big boys in the middle are doing very good too. So I think the one thing we can kind of hang our hat on is our defensive line, because like I said, our secondary is very inconsistent. Yeah. Our linebackers are fine. I like Jordan Hicks. I like him a lot. I think he's played really good in coverage. I think his speed is everything we've looked for as another linebacker next to Eric Kendricks. But just going to the defensive line, I think that is what we're going to be able to plant our hat on. I think I saw the Dolphins had let up 16 pressures, and I see that defensive line eaten on Sunday.
It's gotten a little rough. Teron Armstead essentially missed the most of last week's game, and he, as you know, Teron Armstead, the dude's the plug and play top 5 left tackle in the league. But the right tackle goes on IR after week 1. We statistically have PFF's worst graded left guard and backup right tackle right now. So 3 guys have been consistent. Armstead's been consistent, but he'll be questionable. Connor Williams has been consistent, but he's playing out of position the way it is. And then right guard has been really good with Robert Hunt. But outside of that, man, it's anybody's best guess.
Well, and anytime I talk about the offensive line, if you're going to tell me that 3 guys are consistent, that means your whole line is inconsistent. It's all about continuity.
Yep.
5 guys on the offensive line have to work together. If you can't do that, it's going to be a problem.
No, it's been a lot of shuffling, and it might be even more shuffling this week against the Vikings. I got one more question I wanted to ask you before we get into our final predictions. I got to put you on the spot. I got to get you to ruffle some Dolphins fans' feathers here, because I know damn well you're going to pick the Vikings. But the last question before that. So from a non-Dolphins fan perspective, does that Tyreek and Waddle duo, does that still put fear in your mind despite the fact that Tua and Teddy are out? Or are you just like, it's a third-string quarterback, we'll find a way to cover those guys? Listen,
the NFL is it's a very fickle league, right? It's constantly changing, and at any point, a lot of casual fans will look at, not Dolphins fans, because I know Dolphins fans all love the Dolphins. They want to see them do big things, but like a casual Dolphins fan, right? Someone that just, I should say casual NFL fan that just watches the NFL and they're like, Bears suck, Giants suck, Dolphins suck. They that's what they've seen the last few years, right? But at any given week, the Jets can come out and win. Any given week, the Dolphins can come out and win. They've showed that they're a really, really good team this year. So I'm never taking a team lightly. And I'm never taking a team that has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle lightly. I don't care if Skylar or Teddy or Tua or I'm passing them the ball. They're going to find a way to get open and make plays. I know Mike McDaniel's going to find a way to get Tyreek and Jalen both, get them the ball some way, shape, or form. Whether it's handing the ball off, getting them some screens, just some way to get them the ball in space and let them make plays. Use that speed, use that elusiveness. I'm always a little nervous when you got a duo like that.
I like what you did there. You just built us up as fans before you tear us down with the prediction. That's what you were doing right there. I play the game. I know what you're talking about. I'm going to give my prediction real quick so that we can end on yours. So Dolphins fans, I'll give you the high. I've got the Miami Dolphins keeping this puppy close. And my theory is, I've said this all week, play not conservatively, but don't make the plays that are going to lose you the game. Make some changes on defense. Keep this game close. Do whatever you can to win it at the end. Because if Skylar tries to do too much early, or you just try to do too much early in general, you get a couple of turnovers, you give up a couple of possessions, you give extra possessions to the Vikings. I don't like that strategy. And I hate this game plan in general. I hate to be in the conservative guy. But man, when you're rolling out your third string quarterback, I don't care if we think he's okay or not. You have to make a couple of changes. So my theory is Dolphins do everything they possibly can to keep this close. Game-winning field goal, 23-21. So, Zach, like I said, I'm going to give you your chance here to disappoint the rest of us. You told me before this puppy started 27-20. I can edit what's on the screen right now if you need me to. Otherwise, go ahead and justify your pick.
I see it being 27-20. I see 2 defenses that aren't the greatest. I think this is going to be a back and forth type of matchup. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Vikings score, get a touchdown, 30 seconds left in the game. I see it being very close. Being down in Miami, it's going to be warm down there. I'm looking out the window right now. I see snow on the ground. So I know Vikings players are going to like playing down in Miami more than they're going to like playing up here this weekend. Right. It's going to be a cold one, but I could definitely see it going your route too. I think the Dolphins could squeak out a win with a close victory. I think it's going to be a very close, hard-fought game. If the Dolphins are able to shut down Dalvin Cook, keep him contained, which is like I've said a bunch of times today, if you're able to do that, our passing game is going to struggle. So if Dalvin gets cooking, I see it being 27-20. If our defense secondary in particular can stay consistent, make some big plays, shut down those two really good wide receivers, I can see it being 27-20. But then again, if you're scheming Tyreek and Jalen open, and it's got to be quick. It's got to be a quick game. Skylar, he can't be holding the ball for more than a couple seconds. Get that ball in his hands and get it out. Get to your playmakers, and that's how the Dolphins are going to win. But I see that defensive line, wreaking havoc on your offensive line. I see Dalvin cooking, and I see our passing game being able to make some plays. But I see the Dolphins attacking our defense. So again, it could go either way. But I see it 27-20 down to the wire.
All in all, can't even be all that mad about that. You didn't hammer us. You didn't anticipate a double-digit victory. You said that Miami had a chance. So fans out there, like I said, we can hate on Zack for this week, but all in all, I promise you, he is a great guy, and definitely give him a follow. And as we wrap up, go ahead, Zack, one more time. Let everyone know where they can find your work.
Well, I'll start it off with, I got to be nice to the Dolphins because my oldest daughter's favorite team is the Dolphins. So I got to be a little nice. So.
we'll bring her on for the post-game recap when we can celebrate a win.
I know. It's too bad she's in school. I'll have to do when she gets out of school after you guys beat us. We'll get her on. But follow me at Twitter at NFL_Zack. I think all my social handles are at NFL_Zack. So check out all my work there. And again, lots of stuff coming up. Some big news with Sports Illustrated coming up soon. Some stuff dropping there. And as always, we're always talking football. We're always, living the dream and loving life over here. So I'm looking forward to a big game down in Miami, and it should be a close one. I'm excited.
Beautiful. Like Zack said, follow him wherever he is. He's got some great stuff coming out. I've been following his NFL draft work for years now. It's always good stuff, so I recommend following that. And Zack, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully your prediction doesn't come out quite as good, but as mine, hopefully it does. But that is our time for today, Dolphins fans. I will be back following that game. If it's a win, maybe we'll get Zack's daughter on. If it's a loss, I'm going to forget about him for the rest of the year. But that is my time, Dolphins fans. And until next time, Fins up.